I mentioned before the glee that I had that the people who tried to interrupt a dancing show in Sweden, one of them got bopped on the head with a camera. But these are these people who think if you sort of throw orange dust around, we'll all change our opinion on the use of fossil fuels. This happened again, and it happened at Twickenham. They were trying to interrupt a rugby match here. Well, we all know why, but does anyone care? Does anyone's mind change because of this garbage?
No. No, absolutely not. In fact, the opposite. I think we're so repulsed by their behaviour, and they're such a tiny fringe. They're all, you'll notice, upper middle-class white kids with names like Jocasta and Sebastian, with very rich daddies, and clearly not much else to do. And, of course, they've been told from primary school that if you drive a 4x4, the world's going to end, billions of people will fry to death within the next fortnight, and so they throw orange dust around and they lock themselves onto highway bridges, crying hysterically that the end of the world is coming. And what they're doing is they're getting in the way of sports fixtures, of people attending art galleries. They block roads when you want to get to your parents' funeral or to a wedding. And they're becoming a bee nuisance, and we need to start getting much, much tougher in the way in which we deal with them.
Shout out to everyone who's called Jocasta, but you know, it's slightly true when it comes to the protesters. Last one here. There is a television star in the UK called Philip Schofield. Now, this guy's huge in the UK. He's a guy who a couple of years came out as being a gay man, but the reason that he's no longer on the TV show is because it has now come out that after meeting a boy in school, helped him get work experience on his TV show, the friendship became sexual. Now, the thing that's particularly worth mentioning on Australian television about all of this, even regardless of the personalities, is that he works for a very lefty TV station that used to sack people for saying the wrong thing, but for some reason didn't really investigate much of this for very long. It is hard to explain to people in Australia the obsession that people have with talking about this story, but it matters in the UK, doesn't it?
Oh, big time. I mean, you know what? Over the weekend, every conversation I had, at the garden centre, at the pub, wherever I was, they were all talking about Philip Schofield. The jokes were all about Philip Schofield. I can't repeat any of them, of course, on your show. So it's been the big subject of conversation. And yes, ITV was one of the two national broadcasters when in the 1950s television became a thing. It's been a massive part of our lives, of our culture, and in the last decade it's become ultra-liberal, ultra-woke, yes, not allowing any opinion that deviates from what they think to be right, and yet, within it all, they were hiding exactly real bad malpractice, and they were warned about it. Back in 2019, they were told what was going on. And, of course, the reason that Schofield came out as gay, remember, he's been married for years, he's got a couple of grown-up kids. The reason he came out as gay is the fear was that this young man was going to go to the press and do a full expose. So it was a classic attempt to buy the story off. ITV is also a publicly traded company on the stock exchange. So you've got people's pension funds, etc., invested into it. This is developing into a full-on scandal, and if I am to believe the gossip I'm told, we haven't heard the last of it. And I think that what will happen is the show this morning, which has been around since the mid-1980s, will be axed, and I think some very senior figures at ITV will go because their shareholders will demand it.
Yeah, bloody oath. All right, thank you so much. Nice to talk to you. Of course, no cancelling happening at GB News, which you can see on Flash, and you're able to see Nigel's show there each and every day.